Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. And I think this is a question that we've all faced as traders. Well, not quite, but a quick little edit. To chase or not to chase? That is the question. Have you been there? Can you relate to this? You're looking at a price and then it starts to go in one direction and then it goes even more and then it goes even more. And then guess what? It goes even more in that direction. And now all of a sudden you're looking at a momentum monster, but you're also now thinking, if I get in now, am I chasing? Is this going to be a really dumb move? And that is what I want to talk about in this video. How can we chase momentum wisely? And I am defining wisely as risk control, risk management at the forefront of our minds. Because at the end of the day, trading has nothing to do with making money or winning. It has everything to do with risk management, risk control. And that is where futures come into play, because futures are a great way, with the way they're structured, where you can approach chasing, but do it in a wise way. Again, wise being defined as risk control at the forefront. Now, if you don't trade futures or maybe you've never heard of them, I do want to offer you a solution to learn more, and that is to check out this free 4-part series that I offer. So I'll put a link down in the description box, again, totally free. And let me mention a couple of things to try to pique your interest. First off, day trading rule, or excuse me, the pattern day trading rule. If that comment makes your blood boil, makes you want to pull out your hair, there is no pattern day trading rule within the world of futures. Second, schedule-wise. If you're someone that's kind of got a tight schedule, futures are essentially open 6 days a week, 24 hours a day. Now, not quite exactly, but for argument's sake, they are open a whole lot and they can offer a whole lot of wiggle room for somebody with a tighter schedule. And then also there is something called prop firms, which allow you to risk very little of your money on the line. I'll get to that later on in the video. But those three things, I would argue, should make it at least worthwhile to learn more about futures and check them out. So again, I'll put a link down below. Now, I'm not going to go into great depth here because I've already done a video on it, and I'll link this down below. But in a nutshell, the way futures work is you can be looking at the same exact situation, but trade that same exact situation in two different ways. So what do I mean by ways relative to what? Well, relative to the risk associated with it. So same situation, but you can manipulate it where you're just trading it with a different risk profile. And that's something very unique to futures and something that I absolutely love because, again, as smart traders, we need to always be focused on risk. So if we're looking at a situation and not quite sure, we still can approach and take the trade in that situation because of the way that the futures are arranged. So here's a trade that I recently took that'll illustrate exactly what I mean. So just to go through a little bit of the context, at one point the price was all the way up here, and I should note this was on the 2-minute time frame. So in that same 2-minute time frame, after the price having been all the way up there, the price dropped and then dropped and then dropped some more, went down to the lows. And I was thinking, wow, this does have a lot of downside momentum. Is it really going to break through those lows? And then that's where the to chase or not to chase. That is the question came into my mind because I don't know. Is that a bad trade? It's already pretty overextended. The price already made a big move. It's now pushing through a support, which is good. But I don't know, it's already going, it could quickly bounce, and you can see the struggle. And if you have any experience, I think you can relate. Well, I don't know. Can you relate? Let me know in the comment section to this mental struggle we have. I don't know. Is this a bad trade because I'm chasing? Is there something I can do where I can chase in a wiser way? And yes, with futures, that is possible, and that's what I did here. How so? Well, there's something in futures called the micro. And micros mean exactly what they sound. You have micro risk, but you do, to be fair, micro upside reward. So if you are right, you're going to be regretting the fact that you chose the micros because you're going to be not making as much money as what you could have had you gone with the big brothers, which is just known as, the NQ. So we have the MNQ, which is the micro NQ, and then you have the NQ. Again, I realize, wait, what are you talking about? Just check out the class. I'll explain more of that. But all you need to know for the sake of this video there are two ways that you can approach the same situation. And if you choose the less risky way, that just means that, there's less upside reward, but it's less risky, but you can still take the trade. So that's why up there I took the micro because I'm thinking, okay, yeah, borderline bad trade. I'm definitely chasing, but I do like the amount of momentum, and it has broken through that support. It's gone to new lows. So in my mind, it'll have a little bit more gas left in the tank. But on that note, I also did definitely approach it in a nervous way. I don't know if nervous is the right word. I would say more of a respectful way, meaning I respect the fact that this has already made a big move. I'm not going to become a greedy savage and expect a whole lot more out of this move, but I think there's at least enough left to pull something out from it. So I definitely approach it in more of a nervous kind of very, very aggressive way from a profit-taking standpoint. But it all boils back to If this was just the NQ, or if this was just a simple situation, then you wouldn't be able to do anything. You just have to basically walk away from the trade. But it's but it is maybe a good trade. But with futures, I was still able to jump into the trade. So let's see how this all played out. And a couple other notes. I did record this live, but unfortunately, I didn't have my screen the right way. So down here, you don't see anything because actually what I was ordering, or, the trade that I was making was down below this area. But you can still see up here, and technically I'm already in the trade. That's where the blue line there is representing. But you can see this with the -3, meaning I'm short 3 contracts. For you beginners out there, what does short mean? It means that I want prices to go down. So you can make money when prices go down. That is known as going short or shorting, and that's what I was right here. And then below all of that, right there, you can see the actual profit and loss that'll fluctuate right there. So let's see how this plays out. It's going to be a quick trade because, again, I was trading nervous because I didn't want to overstay my welcome. But let's see how this all turned out. So you can see that number up there fluctuating. And then right there, I was out. And that put about a $25, $30 profit into my pocket, which, again, what? But like I said, in this situation, I'm mad that I chose the micros. But had I been wrong and had the price all of a sudden bounced back up, had it pulled one of these numbers where it came down there and slightly broke and said, "Oh, just kidding," and we've all been there before. In that situation, I would have been very, very glad that I had the micros. But this is a feature of futures that really, really like, as it allows you to have that much more flexibility within your trading, because if you're ever unsure, then you can still behave in wise ways. And I'm defining wise as, again, focused on your risk, keeping that risk as minimal as possible. And then on top of all this, futures trading has prop firms attached to it that you can use, which is what I'm using, which makes the risk profile that much cleaner and that much more straightforward. Now, I'm not going to go deep down the rabbit hole, but all I will say is, on a nutshell, future or prop firms with future trading allow you to put very, very minimal of your cash on the line at risk. And then if you can prove yourself as a trader, you have a whole lot of upside potential. So I'll put a link down below to the prop firm that I'm using. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I have, I am with this prop firm. And like I said, if you go to that link, you can learn more about them and what they have to offer. But again, very, very minimal way to put your money on the line, but there is a whole lot of upside potential. And I should note to make sure you use the link down below, because that will give you the best deal possible. The prop firms are usually running promotions and such. So in order to get the best deal possible, whenever you're watching this video, make sure you click on the link down in the description box, and that'll make sure you get that. So at the core, yeah, to chase or not to chase, always a very valid question. Or really, I should say this, I hope you're asking the question, because if you're not asking it, then that tells me you don't really have any sort of regard for risk at all. And that's a recipe for a disaster. But assuming you are a disciplined trader, then yeah, it's something that we battle, and it's something that we always need to be considering. But if we can still chase momentum, but chase it in a wise way, which is what futures allows, I would argue that is definitely a very good thing. So I hope you enjoyed the video, but I also want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live webinar that I'm offering, that'll tell you more about the tools I'm using and how they can be used to manage risk, control your consistency, and just approach the markets in a systematic way, in a way that gives you a game plan. So go to claytrader.com/live, or just check out the link in the description area, and that'll tell you when the next live class is. But definitely check that out, as it's something that I'm very confident in, and it's done me very well over the years. And if you want to learn more about the tool and why it is so powerful, like I said, definitely get signed up for the free class. If there are any other questions on anything in this video, please leave that down in the comment section below. And if you just want to support the channel in a totally free and easy way, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps out. Or better yet, hitting the subscribe button and hitting that like button. Like I said, it really does help out, and I help you, and I thank you in advance for that. So I hope this helps. But yeah, get out there and chase that momentum, but chase it wisely.